y'all doing today? You guys want to learn a little bit about croissants? Is it okay if we do a little baking together? I think we could have a really great time. I think we should talk about croissants, pastries, different formats, and you know what? We could just fill like your whole menu today. So how's that sound to everybody? All right. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Sonja Kehr, and I am one of the corporate chefs here at General Mills. And one of the jobs that I do is baking training for our sales team. And so it just so happens that we're coming out with a new freezer to oven croissant format. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to not only show you that and introduce our new croissant to you, but to let you know that we have two other formats of croissants. And then to give you some suggestions on how you can use them for your entire menu. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, carry out, even leftovers, should you have a leftover croissant. I know that's hard to believe, but it might happen. So let's go ahead and take a minute, and I just want to introduce what the three formats are that we have here at General Mills. So the brand of our croissants is called Pillsbury, and so some of you know Pillsbury, so high five. The three formats that we have a fully baked format, and this actually comes in a box. They are fully baked. You have your choice of all butter, margarine, or what they call plain, which is like a blend of butter and margarine. And you can have sliced or you can have unsliced. And there's several sizes to choose from. So you have a 1 ounce all the way up to a 3.5. So pretty much the benefit of this format is you don't have to do any work. You order it, you take it out, you build what you want to build, and cool, you got a home menu. Okay, so that's absolutely fantastic. And that's a lot of us right now. We have no skill available, no time, and we really don't want to think about it. We just need something that looks fancy, because you know, if you say croissant on your menu, you can charge a little bit more than saying hamburger bun. Plus, our croissants taste better. So, a little partial there, just throw that in. So, I want to go ahead and hint at this format here is called FTO, which stands for freezer to oven. And the idea of that is that you don't have to do any work ahead. You can take it exactly from the freezer, put it on a sheet pan, bake it in the oven, and have awesome, okay? So it's got the same volume. You can see the same volume between the thaw-proof and bake and the FTO. So you're not compromising any quality here. All you're doing is saying, I need it now. I don't have time to wait and proof it, okay? Now the next one is our thaw-proof and bake. And that is for people who do have, you know, a little bit more bake shop mentality, who have some skill with proofing, who have time for proofing. Now the advantage of thaw-proof and bake is you do get a little bit longer shelf life because you're letting the dough wake up slowly and then take its time and then proof. But you do need a skill to know, is it thawed long enough? Is it proofed long enough? Is it overproofed? And then to know when it's done. Now the cool part is to know doneness between both of these. You're looking for even golden brown, sometimes actually even rich brown coloration. Like the European degree of doneness tends to have a little bit more egg yolk rich in the egg wash. And that actually raises a good point too. Normally with proof and bake, you would egg wash the dough before you bake it. In the FTO, the freezer to oven product, it actually already comes with the egg wash on it. So that's even one more step saver that you don't even have to do that part before you put it in the oven. Basically you pan it the yellow side up for the egg side up, and you're good to roll. So I actually have some in the oven because I want to show you what they're like fresh, hot, and right out of the oven for doneness. But let's go ahead and we're going to look at the formats first. I want to kind of give you some suggestions on how you can menu each one of these formats. So your first thought might be that if you start with the fully baked, well, what am I going to do with it? It's already done. I can't do anything else with it. Well, yes, you can. So we're actually going to No, we're in the right place. It took me a minute. I was like, okay, because we have so many menu items to choose from today. I slightly got lost. Okay, so the very first one, we're actually going to start down and up front. We have a dark chocolate malted croissant bread pudding. Okay, yum delicious. Okay, so the cool part with that is, you know, you can add alcohol, you can add chocolate, you can add bits, and then because you're adding, you know, a royal batter, which is basically eggs and dairy, and you can even use a plant-based dairy if you want to in there, but you know what, we already got chocolate and butter-rich croissants, you know, just go all in. But the great part about that is you can think truffle flavors, eggnog flavors, pumpkin flavors, you know, it can be so many things. It doesn't have to be a leftover, it can be a destination.
You're getting some yummies on that one.
Oh, yay, thank you. Oh, I know. See, chocolate and alcohol, where can you go wrong? The next one we have up front is also, it's kind of a spin on bread pudding, but what I did, it's a stuffed French toast. It's a gingerbread stuffed French toast, and then I stuffed it with apple pie filling. So you can serve that as an entree all in of itself. Doesn't look like bread pudding. Okay, it looks like a moneymaker to me, okay? I think you can decide if you want to serve that with maple, if you want to maybe serve it with like a creme anglaise with a little bit of extra nutmeg in there. You know, you decide, party on. The next one, we actually use our, wow. Yeah. I'm just letting you know, super tasty. All of these, we have sacrificed and taste tested in the recipe development. And every single recipe is on the website. So that's why I put the menu tags so you know what search term to look up the name for the recipes.
You can't go wrong with chocolate and alcohol.
See, you know?
A lot of agreement.
You know, little whipped cream in there too, and the day is good. Let's round it out. The next one I have with the petite croissant, I made some eggnog French toast. So it doesn't matter what the season is, okay? You can take that basic royal batter, eggs and dairy, and then add spices to it, add alcohol to it, whatever. And for this particular one, all I did was I dipped it and I threw it in the deep fryer for 30 seconds. Poof, French toast. So you don't have to worry if you don't have a griddle, okay? If you have small kitchen space, we have a solution for you. And it actually helps make the eggs in the royal batter souffle up a bit. So it kind of poofs, kind of like French toast sticks, if y'all ever had those in grade school. Okay, so like that. So then it's your choice. You can pretend it's healthy and serve it with fresh fruit, or you can just go all in and do some fresh local, support your farmers. Maple syrup. I'm having that moment. It's a Minnesota moment, just letting y'all know. Okay, so the next one that we have available, okay, this is just your classic breakfast sandwich. How can you go wrong? Okay, the great part about croissants, because there's so much butter, love in croissants, it gives you a really good extended hold time. So if any of you work in a C-store or you need to have something that's gonna sit in your slide for a little bit, okay, try a croissant breakfast sandwich. Okay, that's gonna give you some nice shelf, some nice love. The next one I have is if you're gonna do a box lunch, whether it's hot or cold, sometimes you wanna build things ahead of time and then just either grill them to order or let your customers microwave to order. So really all depending on, so what's the footprint of your operation? So this particular one, we just put in some fancy ham. So we have some smoked Canadian ham, we have some Munchkin ham, and then we have a Black Forest ham. And then we did some Gouda cheese and some Dijon mustard, and then threw it in a box. And then let people decide, do you want to heat it? Do you want to serve it cold? Do you want to serve it, you know, with veggies on the side or whatever? Super simple. And again, because of the croissant, reheats excellent. So that's kind of key too, because if you're not holding everything hot, then you need to know, does it heat up fast enough that I can serve my guests? And at the last one in the fully baked kind of recipe cheats packs, I'm keeping an eye on our croissants, because I think we're going to take one of these out here. Oh yeah. Okay. We're just going to set some of these out as they come out. We're going to give that about 2 more minutes on the other one. This last one is actually a Croissant Parfait. So on the website, we also have a recipe for yogurt mousse. It's equal parts by weight of a non-dairy whipped topping and then the Eclair Parfait Pro yogurt. And then you can choose to add things like Oreos or instant beverage packets for different flavors. Or we actually even have 3 flavors of the Eclair Parfait Pro. So you can use those. You can also cheat and use just whipped cream. But hey, who's judging? You also have canned pie filling. Okay, what else is more stable than canned fruit filling? You can also use fresh fruit, canned fruit, you know, you pick what you want. Now the great part is the croissants will absorb the moisture, and so this again has a great extended shelf life. So the cool part about this is you can get 3 days in the cooler. All right, so not only did you use something that was fully baked, whether or not you started with fully baked or whether or not you're taking one of the other, you know, formats and fully baked, it's one more way that you can dessert it up. And, you know, you can make money off a dessert for grab and go. Some people just need that sugar fix, and well, there you go. I want to take a quick pause here. I actually overbaked because I was being chatty. My first croissants, but the cool part about this is I just want to show you that right out of the oven, when you have hot butter, it's liquid. Think about, you know, like lobster tails or crab sticks or whatever, and you dip them in melted butter and it's ooey gooey yummy. Well, all the butter, because it's real butter that are in these, so you're getting the flake, all right, but that's why you won't be able to cut these right out of the oven. This is all this butter, you know, look at all those layers. I mean, just go yum. Okay, and I want you to see, I have the evidence. I have the butter evidence. So if you're gonna use these and fill them, I want you to wait 1 hour before you slice them. You need to let the butter kind of settle down, not be so hot, because then you'll be able to have enough cell structure in the product that you can slice it nice and clean.
You got it beautiful on those layers.
Yeah, and you can taste every one of them too. So you get that dual texture, you get crunch, you get crisp, you get some mess on your shirt, but you know what? A real croissant should make a mess on your clothes, okay? Just so you know. We're gonna actually show you how to cut one, because as long as we're already in this department, we're gonna show you how to tear one. We're gonna show you how to cut one. And I ain't too proud. I can show you the tray that we did it on. I'm gonna get a cutting board too, rather than. And I don't have my gloves on because I'm here with you fine people. I'm not actually serving this to anyone, but I wanted to show you. So from a degree of doneness, you have that rich golden brown. I want you to see the bottom too. Some people will say it may be a little bit dark, but with this, I want you to think about something. When you make grilled cheese, all that butter, toast the bottom of that bread, then take a bite. That's my challenge with this, okay? So when you see that, I want you to think even gold rich love, and when you taste it, you're gonna get kind of that grilled cheese vibe in there, and you're gonna get that same tooth. You're gonna get a little bit of crunch, a lot of crisp, and a whole lot of butter. So when you're gonna slice these two, you're gonna slice them horizontal, but what I want you to do is I want you to start, we're gonna slice through the heel. So we're gonna put our hand on top just so it doesn't go away, okay? Don't grasp it with your hands because you wanna make sure. We're using a serrated knife too, and we're starting with the heel. And then we turn a little bit, so then we're gonna slice through the first claw, and then we're gonna turn again, and we're gonna slice through the second claw. Okay, so that's how you have beautiful, even, wonderful, look at all those layers in there. And this is actually the second size. This is the 2.7, this first one was the 1.2. But that's how you can get the nice, beautiful slice without breaking the claws. All right, I think we're almost ready to take out our next one. I really need to watch my oven because I'm burning my croissants. And, okay, we'll worry about that later. So next we're going to talk about the FTO croissants. So since we're already in the neighborhood, I wanted to go ahead and show you how many things that you can do with that also. So right up front, we actually have this one. I don't know if we call it the super BLT, the deluxe BLT, the ultimate BLT. It's just yum. Okay, so pick the biggest, thickest cut bacon you can find. And then you want to get like the freshest tomatoes you can find. So if you got heirloom tomatoes, garden tomatoes, your next door neighbor's tomatoes, ask first. I'll just pick from their garden. Okay, and then whatever greenery you want. It doesn't have to be lettuce. It could be herbs, arugula, whatever. Okay, and then mayonnaise. There's some backstories about what kind of mayonnaise you should use, but for BLT, I think consensus is you should have some kind of mayonnaise. So you can do a sriracha mayonnaise, a maple mayonnaise. You pick. Spice it up. Whatever two things you got sticking on your refrigerator door, mix them together with your mayonnaise, and that's the flavor of the day. Okay, so that's your souped up BLT. And then the kettle chip of your choice doesn't have to be chips, but you know what? It just goes with chips. Just throwing that out there. The next one, we actually used the petite croissant and made some open face. This is the Avocado Toast, and if you pick up the name tag, it's in French. It's the French name for avocado toast. And I'm going to just say, I'm not going to pronounce it because I'm going to screw it up. But you can actually look under the second search term and it'll show up. It was like, okay. So it was more for fun because I was like, well, it's a croissant. And if it's avocado toast, then shouldn't we call it any? So I'm just having some fun with that. Now this one, if your avocados are in season, by all means go ahead and slice them. If you want to mash your own and mix it with whatever your favorite seasoning is, that's fine too. Or you can just hack and use some prepared guacamole, whatever you want to do. Again, tomatoes, you know, how can you go wrong with avocado and tomatoes? And then we just poached some eggs today to do the toast as our protein garnish. But, you know, do whatever you want with it. I mean, if you want meat, if you want animals, if you just want to leave it veggie, you know, rock out. I threw some grapes and some oranges on there. I think it's a Cara orange today. They just look really good. And I'm like, you know, a little color in your life will do you well. The next one that we have, this is kind of like a classic, and I don't know, it was from somewhere like ancient. I don't know whether it was a restaurant I worked at or if it was something from school or whatever. But the seafood croissant was a thing. It's still a thing. It's very tasty. I added some cucumbers just to get some more texture. Some people like to put their celery in there. I put lettuce too. Again, your choice. Now the cool part was with the FTO, you notice it's got sesame seeds on it? So what I want to tell you is you can have toppings on your FTO croissants too. So even though it says FTO, which is freezer to oven, if you thought for about 5 minutes first, remember I told you that it comes with egg wash on it? So you don't need to add any more egg wash. It's basically already got the glue. So you thought just for those 5 minutes, just enough where the top starts to melt. Then you can dip it in there if you want to have a thicker layer of a crust, or you can just sprinkle it on if you want to have like a lighter garnish layer. Either one's fine, whatever works for you. But that way you can also have different flavored carrier shells with your croissant. So it adds some visual components, it adds some texture. I'm actually going to move these two out of the way real quick, and then I'm going to show you how you can actually top your croissants. And so you can do this with the FTO. You can also do it with the thaw-proof and bake. And the idea here is just, if you're going to do the the freezer to oven, again, you just thaw it for about 5 minutes, just enough so the topping sticks. If you're going to do it with the proof and bake, you need to egg wash it first and then sprinkle with the topping of your choice. We have almonds, sugar, cinnamon sugar, coarse sugar, everything bagel spice, poppy seeds, caraway seeds, Italian seasoning, sesame, garlic, and black sesame, the Nigella. You notice I don't have anything like steak seasoning, because those are really heavy in salt, okay? So there's lots of wonderful no salt seasoning blends. I'd encourage you to play with those. They're full of flavor. It's just you don't want to have a lot of intense salt on a baked good. You know, with your salted caramel, that's fine, but just for your baked goods, sometimes the salt can interfere with proofing, and so we just try and skip that. So this is just an example so you can see between the thaw proof and bake and the FTO. There's a little bit difference in the coverage. In the FTO, the freezer to oven, you're gonna see the you know what, this is a great time. Let's introduce you to the frozen dough, okay? Try not to drop kick me, go ahead. All right. So, normally, and I'm gonna move these just so you can see the comparison, okay? And then we can move back out of shot later. Whoop. Ah, okay, we drop kicked that one. We're not gonna go fetch the little one. Maybe we will. Okay, because y'all aren't gonna eat it. Here's a fresh one. Shrink. Okay, so, good props. All right, so the freezer to oven, I want you to see it's flat. Okay, what it is when they make the dough, it's a laminated dough. They roll it out, they cut it into the triangle. Once you get the number of curls, I believe it's 3.5 curls, in the triangle, then they actually flatten it. And it gets this nice egg wash over the top, okay? So I want you to see too, when you look at the sizes, we're not remarkably different in size. There's a slight difference in the volume. But from the freezer, that it gives you this wonderful product performance. All you have to do is when you pan it yellow side up. That's all you need to remember. Okay, now remember when we talked earlier, if you're gonna use the proof and bake croissants, that you need to have some skill, some energy. So this is the thing too. When it comes out of the freezer, it's this size. Now you need to proof it until it's double in size and knowing when it's just right, okay? Because we have a thing called a Dimple Test. And if you poke it in for the dimple, if the dimple bounces back but still leaves a depression, then it's perfect. But if it crushes, then it's overproofed. I'm letting you know right now, mine are overproofed by at least half an hour. So I'm just gonna fess up there. But the idea is that the dimple test is that it would come back. Mine's actually falling, plus I'm getting a crust. But you can see the difference in volume. And remember we talked the advantage of the proof and bake is you get a little bit longer shelf life.
How long is the ideal proofing?
Okay, so the thawing stage, the retarding stage, where you thaw it in the cooler is anywhere from 8 hours to 15 hours. And ideally, you get towards the end. If you go over that, then you're actually starting to overproof in the cooler. So that's, again, where you have to know, you have to judge, you have to be consistent, you can't run behind schedule, and we all know that the schedules get screwed up from minute to minute. Then once you take it out of the cooler, because these are all butter, I can't put them in a proof box. So it's gonna depend on what day of the week, how hot my kitchen is, how humid my kitchen is, what part of the country I'm in, and whether or not I'm paying attention. So where I park the cart, whether it's next to the stove or whether it's next to the refrigerator or it's somewhere that's got a draft, mine had a draft, so that's why I have a skin on my croissant. So because all of those things could go wrong, that's why the FTO, the freezer to oven, presents such a new opportunity to help remove all this guesswork, but still give you awesome, delicious, flaky, buttery. Okay, so that's kind of why we're here today, is just so that you can see you have the option of fully baked. You have the option now to have fresh bake on demand. So when the bus rolls in or if you run out, you don't have to stay out for the day. No, you just throw some more in and in 26 minutes you got some croissants. Versus this, you're talking, at least 15 hours from beginning to end between thawing and floor proofing and baking. And that's a whole lot of maybe that some people just don't have. If you have a bake shop, power to you, because rock on, then you can manage your space. But I know a lot of you don't. And so that's why this is awesome to have this new opportunity. So I know we're running long on time. I'm just gonna give you like the 30-second blitz on the thaw proof and bake menu items. So right up here, we have a steak frite, which is basically steak and french fries. And we did it with an everything bagel seasoning on top of the croissant. The next one was the Croissant A La Plancha, and that's just a pesto schmear. And then we threw some chicken, tomatoes, and mozzarella in there. And then the next one, this one I absolutely love. This is a stacked vegetarian, and we did the black sesame seeds on top of the bun. So no cheese. The only dairy is the love and butter that's in the croissant. The one that's up front, we made some sticky buns, but we had to give it a little, you know, European spin. So we did an orange marmalade citrus almond sticky bun. Just letting you know that one's sinful. And then last but not least, I want to help you. So whatever menu of the year that you have, you know, whether it's Mother's Day, whether it's, you know, the winter holidays, whatever time of the year it is, okay, we either have carry out or we have catering or even just grab and go. So I did this collection so that you can see with one size, I get 6 flavors, so I can sell like an assorted dinner roll pack. I did these. All I did was I thawed them for like 5 minutes, spun it so they get like a little turban in there. So I have like a nice, dense, flaky, almost like a butterflake roll. We did these are just the 2.7 ounce size, and we fill them with some apricot jam in the croissant and a little bit of vanilla glaze. Here we have chocolate, cinnamon, almond, coarse sugar, and again, the first one was a savory dinner roll tray. This one is a sweet breakfast tray. And again, whether it's for the holidays or for carryout, okay, that you have lots and lots of options for topping. Oh, I almost forgot too. The chocolate eclair. Okay, and that one, that's just for yum. I always throw that in there because how can you go wrong with chocolate and whipped cream? So that's kind of my spiel for the moment. I know we ran a little bit long, but I wanted to give you a chance to ask any questions. Tell me more about yourselves, or, you know, let me know how you're feeling about croissants.
Lots of love.
I was going to say, anybody getting hungry yet? Anybody have some thoughts on which one or more than one do they want to put on their menu? What do they want to serve their family next? Which one would they want to play with? Like, which format do you see you using in either in your kitchen or in your operation? Because some of y'all might be some power home cooks. So you have to tell me all about it. I've been reading the chat in there too. So they're like, where can we get it? I'm like, that's where you have to do the CF helpline, and they have customer sales for there too. So now you have to buy a whole case. Sorry, but
you got a wonderful job. A lot of love.
Aww.
There was some love for your chef coat too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's my new bling. We just got these. It's my Pillsbury bling. It matches our logo thing down front too.
Question: is there a whole grain croissant in the works at all?
To my knowledge, there isn't, but that doesn't mean sometimes they have top secret things. So if you have interest, I always say submit it to the customer helpline. If enough people say, hey, you never know.
Love it. Another question: are these trans fat free?
I'm going to say yes, because I thought it was the no as far as like the zero artificial flavors, artificial colors, since that would be the no trans fat. I would need to confirm that. However, if you go to the General Mills CF.com, all of these products are online now. You can look them up, and so you can see the ingredient list live now as we speak. And so you can type freezer to oven croissant, or you can even type FTO croissant to look up the collection, or if you just type croissant, it will give you the whole portfolio.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Another question: are the all butter options available straight and not curved?
It depends on the size. Usually the straight is the largest and the smallest. So it would be the 1 ounce, and it would be the 3.75 ounce for the proof and make. For the freezer to oven size, it's just the petite right now. And when we have the chocolate launch, that's going to be the small and the medium, and the chocolate will both be a straight.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I think you made a lot of people hungry today, Chef.
Yay! Well, that's how you know winning. And if a chef makes you drool and say, okay, now what's for dinner, then that's a win. So